I hope I can help with this. That's a very interesting question. Because it's unconscious.
Yes.
So that is really interesting. I would share one thing that occurred to me while you were talking is that if something scares me, I pay more attention to it, and I usually do it anyway, and I challenge myself to do it anyway. And for example, public speaking is not a natural thing to do. Most people would tell you. And so I made myself do it starting, I don't know, 25 years ago. When I was starting out, I would volunteer and I would just say, just get up there, and it wasn't easy. And I'm sure I was terrible the first few times. But you get better and you ask for feedback, whether you fight your instinct not to want to hear it, and you look at people who are great and you're like, oh, what are they doing? Like, what's so good about what they're doing right now? And then you get better and you're like, oh, and just pick one thing. Like maybe it's their eye contact, maybe it's how they're holding their body, maybe it's their topic, or maybe they're a little bit funnier, they smile more, or they so you can learn so much from so many different people. So that's one thing. It's just I think it keeps life exciting, and it means you're learning if you go towards things that are healthy, but that give you a little bit of like, oh, I don't know if I can do that, but that keeps you young, and I think it keeps you learning. And then you can always, and asking for help from people who are better than you. That's a great way to learn. And people love being asked. It's very flattering. It's a very nice thing to do, actually, for someone, is to say, you do this so well, I'd really like to get better at that. How do you do it? And that's a fun way to bond and to learn. So those are some things that I do.
We have to get away from ageism and saying, the young are indulgent and disruptive unnecessarily and have short attention spans, and all those kind of lazy generalizations that the old have about the young have about also the old. And I just think we need to get away from that, and almost learn, if we're a manager in a business, or even if we're a mother to a 5-year-old son, to step out of our own time and say, okay, there's a reason why Netflix is boring to him, because he was born with it. It's almost does not have the same allure to my son that it has to me, because he's just used to it. And actually trying to understand that and learn and empathize with different generations because of that, I think is an incredibly important thing to do in society. Whether it's looking at a baby boomer or someone in their 60s and 70s and realizing that in Vietnam, or they went through a certain period in your nation's history, through war, through political disruption, through revolution and upheaval, and how that has shaped that generation, those in their 60s and 70s now. And helping the young people, the 9X generation in Vietnam, to understand what that was like, and to understand what that meant for not your country, but actually just people's everyday lives. And that's what I mean by we have to transcend our time, because actually what that is about creating empathy, understanding, and bringing the generations together. And it's as important in the workplace as it is in the family.
When we go through this moving meditation, we're able to slow down. We're able to witness our thought patterns, our beliefs, and behaviors. And it's in that very moment we are able to rewire the neuro pathways in our brain. Now, 80%, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how over 80% of our thoughts are the same as the day before. So if yesterday was a day of negativity, all these labeled quote unquote bad things, then most likely today that's going to come up for us too. If we don't take control of the reins and bring awareness to this, we're going to be caught in that loop. So how do we rewire the neural pathways to have a more meaningful, fulfilling, and joyful and loving human experience? We do these practices so that we can catch those thought patterns and in the moment invite in loving kindness and reprogram the mind to serve us best.
Such a beautiful question and mission. And I love that you and your wife are pursuing this together in relationship. So love the question. What's been critical for me is giving myself permission to take the time to think. So figuring out, and actually writing the book really, really locked this in for me, figuring out how wonderful the hour or the 2 hours is in the morning where I just say I don't take meetings. I'm not available. I haven't checked email. I'm sitting on the couch with my journal next to the puppy, with a cup of coffee, asking myself questions. And so the space and time and permission is one. The second one is the power of exploratory writing. So here I'm going to recommend Allison Jones' book, Exploratory Writing. And I've learned so much from her about all you do is set a timer for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. We all have 6 minutes. No way we don't have, everyone can find 6 minutes in the day, I think. Ask a question, and her book is loaded with prompts. And then just start writing on a piece of scratch paper. It doesn't need to be, don't make it a pretty journal that makes it too precious, but just a piece of scratch paper, reflect on see where the pen takes you. Don't do it at the computer. There's something special about writing on paper, and use your writing as a way to explore your thinking, as opposed to using your writing as a way of documenting what you know or what you understand about the world, but use it as exploration. Such a powerful tool for thinking.
Well, there's a story which you may have heard of the great hypnotherapist Milton Erickson, and he had a client once who was completely bored with his life. Bored. He was really bored. He couldn't find anything interesting to do at all. Been everywhere, seen it all. Just bored. Didn't know what to do. Just going crazy with boredom. And so what Erickson did was to take him out into his back garden, which was grass, just a lawn of grass. And he said, okay, so can you please look through these blades of grass, and I'd like you to come back with 2 that are absolutely identical. So this guy's got this big field of grass, and he came back an hour or 2 later, and he said, wow, every single blade of grass is different. Now, this is a metaphor, of course, but if you unpack it a little bit, most of us look at a lawn and go, grass. Right? It's just grass. And by giving it one label, boom, it presents itself to your mind that it's all the same. Now, once you start looking more deeply into anything at all, you start to find that there are differences, and sometimes interesting differences. So basically what the guy learned was that there is difference and interest in everything if you look hard enough.